going during our session?
Our session started.
Oh.
Good morning, everyone. Amy would like to charge her phone this morning. We are graced by the presence of Amy. I'm actually have two special guests today. We have Amy right now, and then, in just a little while, in 1 hour, we're going to have a webinar with Fedor Holz. If you know who he is yet, I've been talking about the webinar all weekend.
Greatest poker player of all time.
Yes, we are having a webinar with Fedor. We're going to be discussing your questions. We had, 1,000 or more questions sent in. I had to go through all of them. And you can sign up for that at pokercoaching.com/askfedor. ASKFEDOR. That's going to start in an hour. So, we're only going to go for about 30 or 45 minutes today because I have to make sure all the programs are working. Turns out, when things really need to go right, quite often they don't. So this is only going to be 30 minutes. We are done in 30 minutes. Sorry, everyone. But we'll have that with Fedor again. You can sign up at pokercoaching.com/askfedor. What's on your mind?
We had family visiting this weekend, which was really fun. My brother and his wife came and met Thomas for the first time, and James for the second or third time. They live out in California, so it was really nice to have them over and to hang out. And we took we tried to get some pictures so that we have a souvenir from the weekend.
Our first family picture, we used the
tripod.
The tripod and the 3-second delay feature to take a photo, and it ended up going okay. Turns out I'm bad at taking photos. Amy always taught me, don't cut off people's feet, so I didn't. And then today for that photo, she wished I would have cut off half of everyone's body. So I don't quite understand how to take photos, apparently. And Amy has not figured out that she needs to double check my work.
It's okay.
She'd rather just be mad about it.
I wasn't mad. They were fine pictures. I'm just going to try to crop them a little bit so that we don't all look like ants in the picture.
You don't want the beautiful ceiling we have in our apartment?
Yeah.
The beautiful plain white ceiling?
That's what we got. It's true.
You have eyelash.
Thank you. Make a wish. What are we going to wish for?
I wish I win the Global Poker Personality Award. Oh, wait, we lost that. That's okay. I don't mind. Thank you all for all of the votes. I do appreciate it.
Who won?
Guy Brad Owen, who I actually worked with a little bit.
Congratulations, Brad.
Congratulations to Brad. Hopefully we can work more together in the future. It's kind of interesting. I thought that the two vloggers would not get it. I thought they would split votes, and maybe they did, to be fair. But they claim he got over half the votes. And I'm sure he did. And the reason is because of injustice. He was done wrong. They had a vlogger category. And the people who they put in the vlogger category, 2 of them, I think, made no blogs last year.
Oh,
no
so
vlogs.
You think people retaliated by shoving all their votes towards him in your category?
Like, no, I was not wronged, right? Like,
yeah.
I know I don't have the best vlog. I don't have the best podcast. You know, I do those things.
You do.
But I'm not, listen, I know I'm not the best, right? And, but his vlogs actually are very good. He went from, no followers to, 100-something thousand.
He didn't make the final
because
grouping in the vlogger category?
The people who voted, they didn't give them enough time to vote, and they also, there's no, people just voted for their friends, which is dumb, right? They should be voting for the best one, right? Like, my podcast was on there. I didn't vote for it because they're better podcasts, right? And my vlog was on there.
And you're also just ridiculously honest.
Well, maybe that's a problem.
Most people would vote for themselves.
But, yeah, that's the problem, is that some of the people haven't even made videos and they're up for the best vlogger, which is ridiculous, right? So anyway, imagine I was just completely wronged in some way. Like, say I put out...
Yeah, I understand.
The year I had made Excelling at No Limit Hold'em, say they had a best book category. If that didn't win, and I was even nominated, my audience would be furious, and they would retaliate by all of them voting for me, right? And that was a very easy motivation for his audience. Because he was wrong. He was straight up wronged, right?
So they were motivated.
They were motivated. Highly motivated. To be fair, all of you were highly motivated too, but I was not wronged. When someone's wronged, people want to make it right.
He deserves it. Congratulations to Brad Owen.
Good job. Congrats.
Good job.
They need a best instructor category. I don't even know if I'm the best instructor. Oh, title should be the 8th. You're right. Sorry. Always move it forward 2 days, except for on the weekends I have to move forward an additional one. Too late for that, though. It's the 7th. It is what it is. We were going to talk about being fun today, but then Amy told me about 1 minute before we're about to start the show, hey,
No, let's talk about being fun.
Hey, I'm going to crash your show today.
No, talk about being fun.
Okay. Whenever people go to play poker, quite often they're thinking only about themselves in the very short term, right? And they think, I'm going to go play poker and I'm going to try to win as much money as I can. But quite often they don't think long term. If you are fun, if you are out there, you're engaging with people, and people like being around you, they are going to be way more inclined to give you opportunities. I mean, just the other night, I had the opportunity to MC a charity poker tournament, right? Which was a really fun thing. Also, that night, I guess I did a good job as an MC, and I was invited to a fun private home game, which was a lot of fun. I didn't win any money, but it was a lot of fun. Actually, it was funny. Amy joked before I left. That was the day of the awards. She said, you're probably going to lose the award, and you're probably going to lose like 400 big blinds. And half of that happened. I lost the award, and I only lost 40 big blinds. So the night was only like 1/10 as bad as it could have been. So that's nice. Russ says, I'm absolutely correct. That's why you voted for Brad. Yeah, people are done wrong. People want to retaliate. I know the date is wrong. Yes, everyone, I know the date's wrong. The date is wrong.
Can you change it?
No, I can't change it.
You can't edit it?
No. It's already been posted.
Oh.
Sorry. It's okay. We'll survive. So, how do you be fun? How are you fun? Is this an issue for lawyers? Being like someone people want to work with?
It is. I mean, because there isn't really anything terribly unique about the service I provide. It's not rocket science.
It's law.
But, so I think part of the way you sell yourself is by being someone people want to pick up the phone and call, or want to immediately email when a matter comes in that they think they're going to need help with. So how do you make yourself memorable in their eyes? One is obviously doing quality work, because people can like you, but if you don't do good work, they'll talk to you at a conference or an industry event, but they're not going to spend their company's money to hire you. But then the other, I think, is that while you're doing the good work, you also are personable and you make yourself feel part of the team. And so that's something that I think a lot of lawyers, and maybe especially tax lawyers, who tend to be a little bit on the more analytical, nerdy side, so I've heard.
Like poker players.
Possibly struggle with. So I think one reason my clients like me is that I do good work for them, and when we pick up the phone and talk, we're having good conversations also, both about the work but also not about the work. So that's how I have fun, is by just enjoying the conversations I'm having with my clients. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
We've gone through this story before, but the first time I ever played a tournament, I was berated at the table by a couple people who were at my table, and they were just nasty and curmudgeon-y and sexist, frankly. But, what I don't understand is why they enjoy behaving like that, because that can't make it fun for them to play. To just sit there and grouse and make fun of other people at the table. I mean, they didn't seem to be smiling when they were doing it or take any enjoyment out of it. So, poker is hard enough, and to do it with such a crummy attitude, I've never really understood. Especially when it was a hobby. These weren't professional players. It was a very small turbo tournament in Foxwoods.
We've actually discussed this a bit, about how people who are annoyed with their situation in life are generally just disgruntled, right? Most people get into poker thinking, I'm going to win a bunch of money, I'm going to have a great time, it's going to be fantastic, and then they just don't. They lose consistently, they're stuck in the small stakes, and that leaves them angry. And also, some people just have ego problems where they're terribly damaged individuals, and they try to make other people feel poorly.
But then that should make them thrilled when someone like me, who clearly has no idea what she's doing, sits down at their table, because that means, hey, I'm going to win all this person's money, and I can maybe have a little bit of fun with her and just enjoy a new presence. I mean, I was by far the youngest at the table by 15, 20 years, and the only female. So why be, can I say the word pissy?
You can be pissy.
Why be pissy about it?
You can say whatever you want.
And be mean to me? Why not be like, hey, this is kind of fun. I'm going to take her money, and maybe I'll have a shot at doing well in this tournament and not have such a bad time in my life.
Yeah, well, fun varies from person to person, right? We discuss this a lot here as well, where you see Well, people on YouTube, right? I'm sure you all know some of the YouTube personalities out there. Not Brad Owen, but there are some out there who are very, very negative. They try to drag people down. They try to cause problems. They try to stir the pot. And that's because they have problems with their life. They really just have severe ego problems. And that's just what some people do because they are damaged. And unfortunately, a lot of people have a lot of problems, and those people think that that's good and fun and cool. And most of the people don't succeed they don't get very far in life, which is why they're mostly stuck in the small stakes games. But if you look at the high stakes games, I don't know, maybe 70% of the people are just like good, happy, fun people. There's still another 30% that are, pretty horrible humans. But the other 30%'s nice. So anyway, what should you not do if you're trying to create a fun presence, trying to be a good, entertaining, nice human? I don't think you have to be like way out there. Like I'm not trying to say you need to be happy and cheery and insanely positive all the time, but you need to not be a jerk. So, how do you not be a jerk?
You're asking me?
Mm-hmm. Who is this lady? This is my wife. Her name's
Who's this
Amy.
guy?
Yeah, his name's Chateau.
No,
That's
you.
that. Oh, my name's Jonathan Little. Hello. But yes.
How do you not be a jerk? I mean, I think one thing that sometimes impacts my ability to have fun and enjoy myself is when I'm too in my own head. So if I'm too nervous about a situation, I just can't relax and go with the flow. Or if I'm trying too hard to think of the next thing I'm going to say to someone because I really care about making a good impression and it's not organically clicking, I find that not only am I not having fun, but the conversation ends up not being very fun either. But I think also part of it is to do things that you genuinely are interested in doing. And I think for a lot of people that's a struggle too, because if you have a significant other, your interests may not always align. If you have kids or family stuff, you might not always want to be doing what they're doing. And so I think that's a real balance as well. But I mean, luckily we like all the same things and we do everything together. So.
We have an interesting comment here that bullies can do well playing poker. Aggression pays. Understand, aggressive play is not what we're referring to. You're supposed to play well. You can play well and be a fun human at the same time. I'm not saying you need to play poorly. That's the opposite of what I'm saying. I mean more just being rude to people. That said, whenever I'm playing with someone, if they are acting rude, or if they're just playing overly aggressively because they think that's what they're supposed to do, I realize these people are fish. So if they want to out themselves as terrible poker players right off the bat by being rude, being obnoxious, etc., that's great, especially if you are very secure with yourself, right? It's different whenever Amy goes to play her first tournament ever because she's not secure, right? Very nervous.
Never.
But, yeah, I mean, you can maybe win $50 local tournaments being a complete jerk, but you're certainly never going to win even medium stakes games because you're a fish. If you're a fish, then you're a fish. So don't think that these people are good or doing something right. They're absolutely not. I think some people get in their minds that doing things to perhaps try to tilt your opponents is the right way to go about succeeding long term. And, it could be the best thing in the very short run. But again, you're certainly not going to get near as many opportunities in the future if you are known to be a jerk. I mean...
Do you think anyone thinks you're a jerk?
I am sure that... I know whenever I lose, I often just get up and leave. I don't say, nice hand, good game, that was a lot of fun, and then shake their hand and then leave. I usually just get up and leave. Some people may view that as being jerky. I don't think so, because I'm certainly not rude, right? I mean, some people say, F you, and then they walk off. Sometimes I'm not in the chatty mood, right? This is one of the things I actually have written down, that you need to make sure that you are casual, right? Sometimes myself and other good pros get too serious. And so you have to be aware of who is at your table. If you're at a table with a bunch of other very serious pros, then you just kind of have to be serious. But if you're at a table with 4 serious pros and 2 people who are, casual and having fun, you should probably be casual and having fun. So understand that you're playing to the audience to some extent. And, someone was here last time saying, well, why should I care about what the audience thinks? Because if the audience doesn't have fun, and again, fun varies from person to person, they may not come back. I mean, if you go and you do something and it's not... Amy hasn't played
No, really.
actual buy-in poker
tournament
tournaments since that experience. She's played one time for money for, in a casino ever because it was such a bad time. Imagine if she had fun. She would travel with me to poker tournaments and play the poker tournaments. So they lost a fish.
They lost a fish.
Because they, and these are people who are only out for themselves, and they cost the poker community at least some amount of money while you're learning, and to be fair, you're not going to devote your life to poker.
Right.
So you're never going to be like a great player unless you decide to change. So you'd be a solid minus 30% ROI player, and they just lost that forever. And it's because you didn't have fun, right? It took one time for you. Some people it takes 2 or 3 bad experiences, but that's what happens whenever you're rude. And think about how many people get turned off just because the people they play with the first time were not fun, right? It's an interesting thing. And it's more to realize that different people view different things as fun. Some people like being antagonized, some people like being needled, some people don't, right? Whenever I was emceeing the charity tournament, I know a few people there who really like to needle each other and fight and have fun. But then, if I don't know what the other people like, I'm certainly not going to go over there and needle them out of the blue unless I have a good reason to think they are probably like that. Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
And it's important to know who you're dealing with. It's hard to know who you're dealing with sometimes, though. But I can tell you, nobody likes to be bullied and made fun of very unprompted, especially when it's clear that they are a novice. Let's see. You can respect your opponents while wanting to take their money. Well, of course. You want to take every opponent's money. That should be very clear. How is technology changing the legal industry?
Someone asked that?
Yeah, a while back. It just went past. Don't be too long-winded.
Impossible. That's a really interesting question and a very relevant one to me. I've been thinking about that a lot, actually, and talking to people who are involved in technology and the law. I think, a very basic thing that technology can help with is making our work more efficient at the initial stages of contract production and review. I mean, right now, clients and law firms utilize a lot of money and time and resources reviewing and drafting documents that are effectively similar form agreements over and over and over again. And technology can at least help somewhat automate or read those documents for us and help us analyze those contracts and those diligence materials in a more efficient and probably more accurate way. So I think definitely, at least at a minimum, technology is going to help streamline a lot of the initial grunt work that comes along with a lot of the deals we do and free us up more to focus on the more creative side of law.
Wrap it up. All right,
that's
good.
It.
This is the poker show.
That was my answer.
I was falling asleep.
Hey! I listen to you all the time.
Yes. It sounds like it'd be like playing poker, but starting on the turn. Pre-flop just all gets played. The grunt work gets played. The routine things get done. And then we do the exciting stuff.
Exciting stuff, and frees you up to focus on studying how to be more creative on the exciting stuff and add value on the exciting stuff.
I have written down here, a way to be fun is to follow the quote-unquote rules. Now, what do the rules mean when I say like this? If you go to play a game, and let's say it's a home game, you want to get invited back. If everyone there is goofing off, having fun, having a beer, limping and seeing a lot of flops, I'm not going to say you should go as hard as these people, but you should be willing to have a beer, maybe limp in a time or two, maybe not be so incredibly serious. If you're playing a very serious game though, then it's perfectly fine to be serious. So you need to be able to observe your situation and then figure out exactly what is acceptable. But at the same time, you still need to play in a manner that allows you to win. And that's really the balance, because you do have to take the game a little bit seriously, but at the same time, part of playing well is having the opportunity to continue playing.
And if you're a woman who's my age or older and you heard someone tell you to follow the rules, you would probably be remembering a book you read in either junior high or high school about the dating rules that was written by 2 women to teach young girls how to get a man to chase you.
Someone asked if you were single.
Which I remember reading when I was younger, at the suggestion of a girlfriend of mine who was obsessed with finding a guy to date, and I just thought the book was kind of silly. But when you say follow the rules, that's what comes to my mind.
Well, we have 1.8% female viewership here.
I know.
So
none of these guys probably know what I'm talking
hello
about.
to all 7 women out there. It's nice to have you
But
here
if
today.
anyone else read the rules or knows what the rules are, then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
You need to understand who your audience is.
I am. That's why I immediately said that no one will know what it is.
All right. I don't know. How else do you have fun? I mean, listen, if you are not a happy...
Get a sense of humor.
Get a sense of humor. How do you develop a sense of humor, though? Like, I have a difficult time saying things like be fun because a lot of people actually don't know how to be fun because that's not their personality. Now, you can certainly have a much more serious personality but still be fun. Like, I'm about as serious as they come, but they're still very fun. Like, off the top of my head, there's a guy, Sean Buchanan. You all may know him. He's a good poker player. And he's very serious at the table. He doesn't do a whole lot of talking to people, but if you talk to him, he's happy to talk back, right? So don't just, put your headphones on and sunglasses and not talk to anyone anywhere, because that is just going to make you unfun, and we need to be fun. So how do you get a sense of humor? And to be fair, there are lots of different kinds of senses of humor, right?
Yeah, there are a lot, and there's goofy sense of humor, there's more witty, analytical, there's more academic senses of humor, there's, nerdier senses of humor, so you can find two people very funny just in very different ways, and if they were in the same room, they might not find each other funny or enjoy each other's company. But, I have to say, for me, it was by growing up in a house where there was a sense of humor, which isn't a good answer, because that begs the question, did your house get a sense of humor, but... I grew up in a house where we laughed a lot together, poked fun at each other. My dad would poke fun at me and tell me to not be so uptight if I got embarrassed. So I think he forcibly tried to get me to loosen up a little bit and relax and appreciate the moment. But we also watched a lot of comedies. I mean, we watched a lot of TV shows growing up that were comedies. We watched a lot of funny movies together growing up. In our house, the funniest movie to watch is still My Cousin Vinny. We put it on periodically whenever it's on TV at home. My dad still watches it. I mean, I think surrounding yourself with humor and with people who don't take themselves too seriously can certainly help. I don't really know if you're kind of born very serious and just naturally take things very seriously, how you can break free from that. But I think certainly surrounding yourself with humor can get you to loosen up a lot.
I was going to say lighten up a lot is what I was going to say.
Yeah,
you say loosen up. Well, you need to lighten up a lot and realize that, yes, we are playing a game for money, which makes it more difficult than many other things, because most people who go to their job and they work, they're not going to get fired if they loosen up a little bit. But in poker, you could lose a lot of money if you do loosen up a little bit. And I don't mean play more hands. I mean be a little bit lighter. But you need to figure out how to focus while also having fun. Mark says, given fun is very subjective. Some people like, for example, loud, drunken, lunatic games. Some people like more casual games where we talk about poetry and arts. What if you find yourself in a game that you don't view as fun? Should you go along with their fun, or should you just be angry and pissed?
There's a middle answer that you didn't say. You don't have to go along with what they're doing, and you don't have to be angry. You can just sit there and be quiet and focus on your game and wait for it to be over or wait for your table to break. So that's probably what I would do.
Or, say you don't like the loud drunken game, which is kind of the one I get the vibe that Mark doesn't like. Don't feel obligated to drink, right? You don't have to do that. But at the same time, if they're all splashing around and high-fiving each other, whenever someone gets lucky, get in there and high-five the guy. Tell him nice hand, right? I mean, partake in the things you are happy to partake in. And especially with things like drinking or doing drugs or whatever, you can always just have the excuse of I have to wake up early in the morning, right? So if everyone wants to do shots at 3 a.m., say, oh, I would love to, but I gotta wake up at 6 a.m. and take care of my kid. It's already too late for me. I'm already living on the edge here already. So it is difficult though, and if you find that you're not having fun and you do play for fun, maybe that's not the game for you. It is well known that professional poker players who are playing to win money trade time for money. And the recreational players, in exchange for giving you the money, they want an experience. If they don't have a good experience, they're not going to continue coming back. So you have to figure out what experience the recreational players want, because they are paying you for this experience to some extent. They're paying you and the casino. And as the professional who is there to win money, that is the trade you're making. And if you are not providing a good experience, you're not really providing your side of the equation. And that is why games die, especially local games. Like, you'll see thriving local home game scenes, and then too many unfun people will get in. And next thing you know, the game is just dead almost immediately. And that's why you see a lot of these private games popping up all around Vegas now, which, I understand why this is happening. Private games have been happening in places like Aria, and people will go to the casinos and basically poach the bad players. Mm-hmm. And then it's like the New York City home games, they'll give them a great spread, they'll give them lots of food and drinks, and they'll take them out to shows and give them front row seats to events. And they rake a lot, but they really cater to the recreational players. They ask, what do these recreational players want? They want to be treated like a king, and so they treat them like a king. And they also keep the pros out of the games. So it's really hard to get in a good game in Vegas. Like, the last 2 years of the World Series, I tried to play cash games, and I looked at them, and it was just like all kids. Like, where are the bad players? Like, oh, they're in the private game over there that you can't get in. And it's all this is borderline illegal, because you're apparently not allowed to have these games. But anyway, if you are a fun, entertaining pro, you may be able to get in these things. And the issue is that the high-stakes games in Vegas were very, very close to dead because it was not fun for the recreational players. And so the smart pros figured out how to revive that, and that was by making the high-stakes private games. So anyway, that's that. So yes, we are professional entertainers, if you did not know that.
You, not me.
You can use that on your tax form if you'd like. See how that goes. All right, do we like tournaments with lots of rebuys? Sure. It's always important to understand which side of the equation you are on. And a lot of people who are winning poker players also think, well, I want to have fun too. Understand you're going to give up something, especially if your version of fun is not this version of fun of the other people. I mean, to be fair, to get the best of both worlds, you need to be able to have fun like the other people in your games and still be able to play well. If you look at a lot of the best cash game players who are in these private games, they are fun, enjoyable, casual people. They're happy to have fun and relax, and they still just play better than everyone else. And I'm very sure I do this exact same thing. I can, goof off and still play 99% capacity. That's because I know the game well.
Which I never understand how you can do that, but
because you study a lot.
Yeah.
Whenever you study a lot, you just know the right play, and you got to study a lot. A lot of people, though, they are, I'm not going to say novices, but they certainly not study the game extensively, so they actually have to sit there and focus, right? Yeah. Like, whenever you're playing, you have to figure out how much is in the pot when there's a pre-flop raise to 3 big blinds and a call. I know 3 times 2 is 6. You, with your theoretical math degree, though, it's only theory.
I'm always looking at the colors of the chips. I never know the actual dollar value of the chips. I know the color amount of the chips. That's as good as I'm going to get right now.
4 greens, 2 blacks.
Whatever it is, yeah. That's what I look at, and then I look at what I have, and I figure out
and then you figure out what 2/3 of 4 green ones is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart. See, I just keep track of it in my head. Yeah. Anyway, but if you play
I'm trying to remember my cards in my head, which I know you don't understand, but I can never remember my cards. Yeah, whenever I look at my cards multiple times, John goes, they didn't change. They're the same cards you had before. And I go, yeah, but I don't know that I remember what I had before.
Yeah, well,
it's
because you lack experience. And there are some games where you have lots of cards.
Yeah,
like some games you have 4 cards. Some games you have 5 cards.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, I know.
By the way, you got the date wrong in the title.
Yeah, I know I got the date wrong in the title. Thanks, everyone, again. Yes, I don't know the dates. One thing I am awful at. Perhaps the thing I'm worst at in the whole world is keeping track of dates and times.
And names.
I'm getting better at names. I'm actually becoming more confident in names. Why don't you play mixed games? Because I value my time. Is that a good answer? Well, it takes a lot of time to learn mixed games. I know it's only taken me about 8 years to learn No Limit Texas Hold'em very well. So, don't want to spend 8 years on 7 other games I get to play only sporadically. Not a good use of time.
Years ago, you said when you were going to the World Series that you were going to study the other games that you can enter more events, but then you never did exactly for that reason. You found that the time required to study and do competently at those other games was better spent elsewhere.
I actually did it on one game, and I got good at it, Pot Limit Omaha.
Yeah.
And that, No Limit Hold'em and Pot Limit Omaha, there's almost always one of those 2 games at the World Series every day. So you get to play almost every day, and if you get 2 off days during the summer, that's fine. You probably need 2 off days. So it's just, yes, it'd be nice to learn the skill. If I could download it at the cost of $100,000, I would pay it. But I'm not going to spend, how many years? 40 years of my life trying to learn it. And to be very, very good. That's the issue. You have to understand when you're playing mixed games, like say you want to go play 7-card stud tournament at the World Series. You're playing 7-card stud against literally the best 7-card stud players in the world. So am I egotistical enough to think that I'm going to become one of the best 7-card stud players by studying for 6 months? It's like, no, that'd be ridiculous. But a lot of people do think that. They think, oh, I'm a good poker player. I can play any game. Like, no, you can't. You have $4,000 to your name. Should you play the 215 Sunday Million, 10 million guaranteed? Depends on if you're happy to gamble. Also, how hard is it to get that $200 back? I don't know. Figure it out for yourself. Seems like a gamble to me. I would literally never play a tournament for, what is that? A fifth of the bank? No, 5% of the bankroll? 5% is a lot. Could you imagine if I went and I played a $500,000 tournament? You'd lose your mind.
You wouldn't have much of yourself, I imagine.
Exactly. I would not do that.
And that would be the one you'd win.
Yes. That is the time I'm sure I would be on fire and win the tournament. Let's see. Do we have anything else we need to talk about? Oh, my wife loves me. You give me a kiss one time? My first kiss of the month.
Of the month?
Let's see. So, there was a poker pro entered a game she had never played and won the tournament. Yeah, one of my friends did that. One of my friends, Adam Geyer, he thought he was playing 1500 No Limit Hold'em. Instead, he was playing 1500 Shoe, Stud, Limit, Stud, Omaha 8 or better. S.
H.
Oh wait, H is Limit Hold'em. E is Omaha 8 or better. No. Stud, Hold'em. Omaha 8 or better. 7-card Stud 8 or better. There we go. He'd never played a limit game in his life. He took 2nd place. And a lot of people look at that and say, they can do it. They don't even know what they're doing. I should be able to do it. But you have to understand his ROI was probably like minus 40%. But when you're minus 40%, you're still going to win sometimes, especially if you understand tournament structures, right? I mean, he understands how to play tournaments great. But he took 2nd place in this random tournament, and that was fantastic. When do we going to announce the 3 tournament giveaway? Go to pokercoaching.com/WSOP. We're giving away 3 seats to the Big 500, or Big 50. When are we announcing that? I think it's in like 20 days. There's still quite a while to enter it. We're giving plenty of people time to do it. Brad Owen, the guy who won the Poker Personality of the Year, he's been promoting it for me, so thanks to him for that. But that's going to be in about 20 days, I believe. Also, today, in 26 minutes, we're going to be having a webinar with Fader Holtz.
Who's Fader Holtz?
Who's Fader Holtz? He's a poker player.
I know.
He has 32 million in live tournament cashes. I don't even know how many online. Probably an equal amount.
That is a lot.
Yeah, in like 4 years too. That's the sick part.
That's a lot.
I have 7 in like 10 years. So he's
that is not a lot.
20 times better than me, I guess.
That's unfortunate. For me.
Yeah. So anyway, we're having a webinar with him. I get 1 hour of his time. We're going to be discussing, well, the questions you all sent in.
That's a pretty valuable 1 hour for someone who has that much in winnings.
Yeah. So you can sign up for that at pokercoaching.com/askfedor, ASKFEDOR. That starts in literally 25 minutes. I am so excited.
I will not be there though, but you guys should all join.
Yes.
I'll be with the baby.
I think that's all I have today. You have anything else you want to say?
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you letting me crash these every once in a while. And I'm just excited to get in on them because I go back to work very soon, and so I'm trying to do all the things that I've been wanting to do in the meantime.
We finally have Thomas down to where he's taking naps at the proper time. And so Amy gets a solid hour in the morning to hang out, and here it is. She decides to spend it with all of you. She must have a problem.
Next, I'm going to go shower.
Congratulations.
I'm back to, for anyone who has babies or has had babies, took me a while to get back to showering every day. That's finally happening. Yay!
Yay! You get to sit down, have a little coffee, or a little
sit down, have a tea.
Tea time
take
with
a
Amy.
Shower.
Tea with Amy.
Doesn't always happen. The tea time and relaxation doesn't always happen, but the shower we've been forcing that issue. That's become a requirement.
Yes. Okay, enough of that. Enjoy yourselves. I will see all of you. I don't know why any of you would miss it. I will see all of you in the webinar with Fedor. Again, you can sign up for that at pokercoaching.com/askfedor. It starts in about 20 minutes. Don't miss out. You don't get very many opportunities
coffee,
like that.
Get yourself a croissant. Get your notebook ready.
I have to spoil something that Mr. James does that's so cute. His grandpa takes him to Starbucks every once in a while. And we ask him what he has there. He says, croissant.
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 Let's see if he'll do it now. If he's out here.
Oh, I hear Thomas.
Hey, James, you want to come?
James coming to say hello.
Come say hi.
You'll hear that baby crying? I don't know why he's crying. Actually, I do know why he's crying. He's supposed to eat at 10 a.m. That's his breakfast time. Hi! Hi! What are you doing? Shut that door.
Everyone wants to know what you have at Starbucks.
James, what do you eat at Starbucks? What's your favorite thing to eat?
What do you eat at Starbucks? What do you eat at Starbucks? Can you say croissant? He's shy.
Why are you shy? Why are you shy? You want tea? You want tea?
You want mommy's tea?
Maybe later. You want to go to Starbucks? Yes. What are you gonna get from Starbucks?
Croissant.
You're a shy boy today.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about anything while we have you here? Oh, that's the mouse.
Oh.
Don't take the mouse. You want to talk about anything today? No?
Alright.
Alright.
Can you say bye-bye?
Have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Thanks for being here. See you all on the webinar, pokercoaching.com/askfedor. Have a great day. Enjoy yourselves.